Alright guys, welcome to Flavo Rihanna's MMA show. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. Guys, UFC 300, you guys can finally stop talking about what the hell the main event is, because Dana White ended up announcing what the main event is right after the Elite Warrior victory over Alexander Volkanovski. Everybody has been complaining at nauseum. When are we getting the UFC 300 main event? When are we getting the UFC 300 main event? Finally, I was hoping to hear Leon versus Bilal, just so I can hear you guys just complain and cry about it and stuff like that. And honestly, this main event, for what it's worth, and I know he were like, oh, why are we getting Conor? Oh, we're going to have George St. Pierre come back, or Ronda Rousey. Oh, God, you guys are so annoying with that stuff. This is a really good card. And the people are saying that, oh, this is mid. Mid what? Mid what? It wasn't mid to begin with. You have so many former champions on this card, so many killers on this card. Sure, do you think I care to see Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm? No, I think Holly Holm is one of the worst. To me personally, I feel like Holly Holm is one of the worst watches to see. All right, she used to be somewhat fun when she was knocking people out and stuff like that. And I know she has that historic highlight of her knocking out Ronda Rousey. But Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. That may be the one fight I really don't care for. All right, but yeah, you have Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez, Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage, right? Because we already know what's gonna happen over there. Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt, Yuri Prohashka versus Alexander Rakic, and this is gonna be his first fight since coming back. Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar. Come on, are you kidding me right now? Zhang Weili versus Zhao Jianan. Plus, you also have the BMF title on the line. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. That's sick right there. All right, it is phenomenal. All right, and the Coleman. All right, and I know that I didn't say every single fight that that's on it. I know I missed out on saying Diego Lopez versus Sadiq Youssef. But guys, this is a phenomenal card. All right, and the main event in which you should have already known about it if you've been, unless you've been living on the rock. It's Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Now, I will say this. I love the fight. But I don't know if they needed to have that fight. If Jamal Hill was ready, I would have put him back. And this is my opinion. I would have put him on UFC 301. Because you guys announced you guys are going to Rio. There is a bigger storyline, in my opinion, on having Jamal Hill back in Brazil. The man said it when he fought January of 2023, right? Last year, that he never left the country, and that was his first time leaving the country. Goes to Brazil, wins the belt, destroys Glover Teixeira. Wait a minute, guys. But Glover Teixeira is the coach, the cornerman for one Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira was also in that corner of Glover Teixeira. He was there when Jamal Hill was applying an ass whooping on Glover Teixeira. It would be no bigger story, in my opinion, if you would have Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill headline UFC 301, Alexandre Pantoja versus Amir Albazi, co-main event that, right? A 1-2 punch combo, and that card is set right there, right? And anything you have underneath, you're paying for the top two fights on that card. Obviously, you have your Kyle Morales and stuff like that. And I know I'm talking about UFC 301, guys. But bear with me. But the fact that you guys, I agree. I love the fight. That fight is not going to suck. Guys, bear with me. But UFC 301 would have been a whole lot better, because you would have put Jamal Hill back in the scene of the crime. Back in the scene of the crime. Back where he ended up winning the belt. Alright? Back where he ended up putting Glover out of his misery and into retirement. And his protege, Alex Pereira, coming back out there to seek revenge, in the wake of Glover Teixeira, his cornerman, his coach. And that would have been so many things that you could apply on that. And that is the one thing that I was like, damn, you could have had that fight on that card. All right. But I can't complain. That fight, the Alex Pereira is a mega superstar in my opinion. The man that's headlined, Madison Square Garden twice. Once against Israel Adesanya once against Yuri Prochazka, right? Now you have him headline UFC 300. The man has won the middleweight title. The man has won the light heavyweight title. The man is just great in 8 UFC fights. And so it's very rare to see something of this nature. All right, I know he fought Bruno Silva instead of Apex, which is something that we sometimes don't even talk about. And Bruno Silva ended up going all 3 rounds with him. And to see Jamal Hill, I have a lot of questions about Jamal Hill, man. I have a lot of questions about Jamal Hill because I know that he's a good fighter, right? But he's coming off that terrible injury, that Achilles injury, and this is 9 months that he'll be out. All right, and plus you got to factor in that he's going into a full training camp, and I don't know if that's going to do him any well rushing back. And that is not a common injury for a fighter. I mean, that is an injury that usually basketball players have from exploding and stuff like that, cutting in and out and stuff like that. For a fighter to have that is very uncommon. And I really do feel like, wow, Jamal Hill is putting all the chips into the center of the table because he feels like he is ready to try to reclaim that belt. And if he does that, man, kudos to him. And I really want to see what's going to go down, because there's people saying that Alex Pereira wants to headline 300, make quick work, try to headline 301 as well. And if he does that, wow, this man's a G. This man's a G if he's able to do that. But that means that if he's able to get through Jamal Hill very quickly, then, we will have to question whether or not Jamal Hill made the right decision on rushing back. Because people were saying that Jamal Hill should be good to go by the summer. He is going to be fighting in the spring. He is more than likely fighting 3 months ahead of schedule. So we'll see how good that Achilles injury recovery is. But yeah, Alex Pereira, versus Jamal Hill, that is your new main event for UFC 300. Let's see if I could just pull this up for you guys. Yeah, it's a 6-fight main card, guys. You got Pereira versus Hill, right? Co-main event, Zhang Weili versus Yao Zhou. The feature fight is Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan, which is going to be a banger, guys. Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. And then the opener of the main card is Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. That is a 6-fight main card. It is very uncommon to see that in a pay-per-view. I know we sometimes get that on a fight night. But man, guys, this is going to be insane of a card. You guys should not be complaining about this. Should not be. I understand we're not getting no Conor versus Knee 3 or Conor versus Michael Chandler, but this is a great card. And I cannot wait for April 13th. Until then, guys, I am Flavio Oriana. And thank you for tuning into my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.